How many times have you found yourself trapped in situations that, like dark vortices, seem to suck away your inner peace? And how many toxic people have you encountered along your path, leaving you with the burden of their negative energies? Life, with its complexity and unpredictability, constantly presents us with challenges and encounters that can profoundly influence our personal growth and our inner well-being. In this journey of ups and downs, we discover that the intricate labyrinth of human relationships often puts us face to face with events or individuals who, instead of supporting us, seem to take away our energy and vitality. And precisely in these moments of confusion, we have often asked ourselves, how can we preserve our authenticity? And how can we find the key to a fulfilling life, despite the challenges that surround us? Thanks to the Zen story you are about to hear, you will understand that moving away from toxic things and people is the only way to avoid getting sucked into that vortex of negativity which, otherwise, would damage you. So, stay until the end because what you learn will be crucial to preserving your mental balance and your spiritual path. In the meantime, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share the video. In this way, you will help us produce new content every day for your spiritual growth. In an ancient Buddhist monastery, surrounded by a calm serenity that only those sacred places can offer, lived the elderly monk Kinzo, known for his wisdom and knowledge of the human soul. Attracted by Kinzo's quietness and wisdom, a young woman named Sakura asked to see him. The monk, with his kind and penetrating gaze, welcomed her with open arms. "Master Kinzo," the woman began, "despite my young age, I have already had many disappointments from life and from the people I trusted. Can you help me understand what to do to avoid suffering again?" Kinzo smiled and invited Sakura to sit next to him. "Life is like a tangled garden, dear Sakura," the monk began. "And self-affirmation is the path we must walk to find our inner peace." The old master continued, "Imagine your spirit as a garden. If you do not take care of it, the weeds of other people's expectations will grow and suffocate the flowers of your authenticity." Sakura nodded, eager to fully understand those words, and Kinzo continued, "Many times, we find ourselves trapped in the habit of prioritizing the needs of others over our own. It's like cultivating other people's gardens while neglecting our own." To make the concepts he was talking about clearer, the monk used a metaphor involving a young gardener. Imagine a gardener who, instead of taking care of his own garden, dedicates himself totally to those of others. The flowers in his garden languished, but he persists, convinced that the merit of his work depends on the beauty of other people's gardens. This reflection, Kinzo explained, serves to make us understand the importance of recognizing and respecting our limits. Taking care of others is a good thing, but within, precisely, certain limits. The monk, before continuing his lesson, paused, looking at the calm water of the pond, as if he wanted the words to penetrate deeply into Sakura's mind. Then the conversation turned to the need to remove ourselves from toxic people and situations. Imagine your garden surrounded by trees infested with a disease. If you continue to grow in that soil, the toxicity will spread to your flowers, and they will slowly die. Moving your flowers away from there, transferring them to fertile and healthy soil, will mean saving them and giving them the chance to live and grow more lush than ever. Now, added Kinzo, think of yourself as an expanse of flowers. If you allow negative events and toxic people to spread their poison, they will damage your flowers, that is, your personal growth and your inner peace. So, to prevent this from happening, you need to stay away from harmful influences. Only in this way will your inner garden continue to produce fragrant and colorful flowers. To make the idea more concrete, Kinzo gave an example. One day, a young monk realized that his inner garden was suffering because of other people's expectations. Thus, he decided to distance himself from toxic influences, which in his case were represented by the constant, unrealistic demands of the head monk. By changing monastery, his life began to flow again with serenity and authenticity. As the girl began to better understand what the master was teaching her, Kinzo began to explore the different facets of this process, introducing the ability to say no and maintain a clear direction in one's life. To stick with the gardener metaphor, he continued, imagine that you are the gardener of your destiny. If you always say yes to others, your garden will grow chaotically and end up dying. Remember that learning to say no is like planting boundaries, defining the spaces in which your flowers can continue to thrive. So be available to others, but make them understand how far you can and want to go. Kinzo enriched the lesson with details about daily life in the monastery, describing situations in which the monks learned to manage external demands without compromising their inner peace. Remember, dear Sakura, that excessive concern for the opinions of others can become a trap. Imagine being surrounded by a swarm of bees. If you constantly try to soothe them by waving your arms, you will expose yourself to numerous painful stings. In such a case, walking away is the only way to find a safe haven, leaving the bees to follow their own path. Likewise, if you notice that people or events are putting too much pressure on you, walk away from them. Because struggling to change certain circumstances or people often turns out to be very risky for your mental health, spiritual growth, and inner peace that you so desire. Kinzo pointed out to the young woman that one's identity must be protected and strengthened. Your identity is the most precious flower in your garden, he said. If you neglect it to please others, you will lose your uniqueness. Remember, maintaining a clear direction in life is like cultivating the flower of your authenticity. While the woman was excited and happy about the wisdom she was receiving from Master, Kinzo suggested that the act of walking away from toxic people and situations was a way to go. Stepping away, he said, is not just a physical act, but a mentality of self-preservation and respect. When we step away, we send a powerful message that we are responsible for our lives. And at that point, either the message is received and the person will understand that they have to move within certain limits, or they will automatically remain distant from us. Continuing with this great lesson of wisdom, Kinzo revealed to the young woman that along the journey of life, there would be fleeting encounters and others that were profound and lasting. Imagine yourself as a traveler walking along a road, he said. Every encounter is a crossroads, and every departure is a crossroads. Some encounters will be fleeting like cherry blossoms carried away by the wind, while others will become intertwining roots with yours. As the sun began to set, Kinzo, in a thoughtful tone, added, know that deciding to walk away isn't always easy and can lead to mixed emotions. But it is a sign of maturity and self-knowledge, and it is essential to learn to say goodbye when a chapter closes to build an authentic and satisfying life. The elderly monk, happy to see the young woman more serene than at the beginning of their conversation, encouraged Sakura to maintain a clear direction in her life, learning to say no when necessary. Stay away from people and environments that undermine your inner peace. Always remember that the ability to walk away is an act of inner strength, a step towards a more authentic and satisfying life. Sakura absorbed Kinzo's words like a flower drinking dew in the morning, and felt that those wise words would grow in her inner garden, guiding her on her journey through the intricate labyrinth of life. But what does this story teach us? That in every chapter of our lives, we encounter people and situations that can shake the waters of our serenity. And that, When we find ourselves faced with toxic situations or people who undermine our well-being, we must learn to recognize our limits and assert our power over ourselves. Therefore, be determined to say no when necessary in order to preserve your authentic path and maintain clear direction in your life, establishing goals, values, and boundaries that guide your choices. Finally, remember that walking away from things or people that could hurt us is neither an act of weakness nor an act of selfishness, but rather of strength and authenticity. In life, you don't have to prove anything to anyone but yourself. Invest your time in what nourishes your soul and seek relationships that contribute to your personal and spiritual growth. Protect your serenity, cultivate a sense of autonomy, and follow your path with determination. In the intricate dance of life, self-respect and awareness of one's needs are the keys to an authentic and fulfilling existence.